welcome to my channel. My name is Tiffany and I am the founder of The Doggery, a single ingredient dog treat company here in Ontario, Canada. And this is my first YouTube video, but my goal for 2026 for The Doggery is to grow, and that means growing online and showing up. And so today I have a really busy day and I thought, what better time to make a video and bring you along with me and answer some of the questions that I always get asked about running a dog treat company, starting a dog treat company, and everything that goes on. So I'm really glad you're here, and let's get started. If you have any questions, just let me know down below, and otherwise, thank you for being here. So first of all, I wanted just to say about kind of what I have going on for the day. Today is the day before my Valentine's Day launch. I am launching a limited edition box of treats that will go out for Valentine's Day starting tomorrow. I have not very many boxes at all that I'm hoping to sell. I just wanted to kind of do a trial run. It's another new thing that I want to do for 2026. Some more launches and boxes and limited edition treats. So that is going to launch tomorrow on Instagram and be live on my website. Tomorrow is January 30th, I think. I should know that considering it's the day of the launch. But anyways, yeah, so we're a couple of weeks out from Valentine's Day, which gives me enough time to get all the boxes ready. Most of the treats are pre-prepped, and take it from there. So this morning I finalized my design of the labels that will be going on these treats. Since they're special edition treats, they don't already have labels. So this is what I designed. I wanted to keep up with like the Valentine's Day like sweethearts conversation starters themed. I love the design of them. So I mean, I'm not a graphic designer by any means, and I printed these at home, but I just thought it was fun and hopefully it catches some people's attention. Yeah, so I got that done this morning and I can't wait to start kind of packaging all the treats and getting those ready. On top of all of that, I have to finalize the pricing before I can launch tomorrow. I'll pack the treats, like I said. I feel like there's something else that I'm forgetting. Oh, I want to put together the box and I'll take some pictures of all of the packaging, the treats, and everything else. And then I'm gonna get another batch of the jerkies ready so I can show you actually the treats that I'm doing for Valentine's Day. I did a turkey neck that is dehydrated. I don't have the treats on me, but I'll show you those once we get over to my kitchen. I'm doing a beef jerky that has ground beef, beef liver, and beets, which is one of the first time I've done that. I do a beef jerky regularly, but that's with a sirloin cut. I am doing a turkey jerky. I used to do turkey jerky with turkey breast, but this is actually with ground turkey and cranberries. And then I am doing freeze-dried chicken hearts. They're gonna be softer, of course, because they're freeze-dried. I have chicken hearts regularly on my menu, dehydrated, which are very crunchy. It's one of my original treats, and they're definitely one of our best sellers. But with them being so crunchy, not every dog can have them. So I wanted to do a batch of freeze-dried and just see what the dogs think. So yeah, those are the treats that we'll be prepping today and packaging and launching tomorrow. So I'm gonna finalize the pricing for that, take some pictures. I got the packaging ready. Yeah, and then other than that, I have about 10 orders to get out, including one wholesale order. So I will have to go stop at the stockist, go to the post office, and do a couple local deliveries at people's houses. So it should be a busy day. treats that came out of the freeze dryer this morning, and I thought I'd start answering some of the questions that I get asked. Probably the most common question that I get asked by most of my customers is how I got started, why I started a dog treat company. So I thought I'd share a little bit about my journey. I know everyone's is probably a little bit different, but basically, I had this idea in 2020 of getting into dog food. At the time, obviously, it was COVID, and I had just graduated university. I was kind of taking a gap year because I didn't want to continue studying online. I finished my undergrad and wanted to either become a naturopathic doctor, an occupational therapist at the time. So I thought I was going to go back to university and just didn't want to do those degrees online like people were doing at the time. So I ended up just kind of killing time for the year and figuring out my stuff and really just taking some classes online. Like I was studying a little bit of holistic nutrition and health coaching. And at the time, my family dog was developing these bumps on his body. The vet kind of told us that they thought they were just cysts and they weren't cancerous. They ended up growing and spreading really fast and ended up being cancer. So we had to put him down. And at the time, me just moving home from university, finally getting to live with him again was super devastating. And I took it really, really hard. And so I knew after that I didn't want to go through that again and felt kind of responsible that we weren't feeding him maybe the best things that we could. I finally brought home Leo, our first dog of our own. And so we knew we wanted to feed him as healthy as we could. I started doing a lot of gently cooked. I was researching, I was reading all the books that are out there. We were still feeding kibble, but I made like gently cooked toppers and treats and kind of filling in that 10% of his daily needs to kind of freshen up his diet, anyways. So at the time, it was kind of funny because I hadn't eaten meat in about 8 years. I was vegetarian, and that was the first time I was ever cooking meat was for my dog. That was kind of how I got started. I didn't end up going back to school, obviously. So I started working with my family, and a few years kind of went by, and I finally kind of got settled in with them and said, I'm going to start this on my own. I started part time with making the dog treats. I kind of sat them down and talked to my husband and my parents and said, I want to start my own dog treat business, which means stepping away from like a lot of other responsibilities that I had. But everyone was super supportive. So I basically started with $500 to get a machine and a few bags of packaging and I ran test batches for about 3 months of treats. I did, just to start, I did beef liver, sweet potato, and chicken jerky, which I still have to this day. But yeah, it was probably about 2 to 3 months of just like testing the recipes and trial and error and figuring out how it was going to work, how long it was shelf stable for, all of this stuff. And then I finally launched in January of 2024, so 2 years ago now. And I would say, like, it was kind of tough launching in January. Of course, January is right after the holidays when people aren't spending as much money. And I was really hard on myself thinking, like, it was my product and it was me and I was doing something wrong. But now looking back, I laugh at myself because I know it was just that it's hard to start in January, especially as a new company. It's hard enough in January to get sales when I have regular customers. So that was one thing I noticed, but it kind of let me like get my feet wet and get started because I started at my local farmers market. So I was doing that once a week and just kind of got feedback and started developing like a couple more kinds of treats. And I would say that's how I grew um, to begin with. Like most of my clientele and most of my sales, especially in that first year, were from farmers markets and artisan markets. So like all your makers, crafters markets, I did a lot of those the first year. I think when I counted, I did 120 markets between farmers markets and crafters markets. So it was a lot of markets. It was a lot of like packing and unpacking the car and making treats every weekend. It was very hands-on. It was very unpredictable, of course, because markets, you never know what you're going to get. It depends on weather, it depends on so many different things. But that's kind of how I got started. And then last year, 2025, I really started to focus on growing my online and kind of toned down a lot of the markets, which worked well. And so for 2026, the goal is to really focus on online and growing my wholesale side and launching some new products more on the food side as well, not just treats. So that's the long answer of kind of how I got started and why I started my business. But short answer is I believe in canine nutrition and feeding our dogs healthy treats and food the same way that we eat. It's always been a passion of mine. I am Mexican. I grew up in a household where food is very important and my dog is very important to me. So I want to kind of spread that love and really treat them like a part of the family too. So if you're not familiar with my brand, I sell single ingredient, freeze dried, and dehydrated treats. And I often get asked like why single ingredient treats. For me, it was mostly because that was what we were using. I found myself relying a lot on beef liver with Leo and realizing that that wasn't kind of sustainable. That's not the only high value, healthy treat out there, and really wanted to kind of create alternatives for people that don't realize that you can overdo beef liver. Like, you're not supposed to use that all day every day for everything. So that was kind of why I started with other treats like in the same family of beef liver. um, it's funny because I grew up and I was always a baker. Like, I baked a lot as a kid, like sugar cookies, everything. But this just felt, even though I was vegetarian and wasn't cooking meat or eating meat myself, single ingredient treats just really felt like the right space for me. I wanted things to be clean and natural and just simple, really, because a lot of dogs have sensitivities, and this just aligns better with kind of the vision I have for the business long term, which is a natural food company, and will expand into foods and toppers and stuff like that. But a lot of people, and there's so many people out there that do baked goods like cookies, biscuits, cupcakes, cakes. There's lots of different kinds of treats out there. This is just kind of what resonated with me. I, of course, started with dehydrated treats and ended up buying a freeze dryer in the fall of 2024 when I received a business grant, and that's eventually when I was able to introduce my freeze dried line of treats. But I just started with dehydrated. Like I said, I only started with 3 kinds of treats: chicken, jerky, beef liver, and sweet potato. So I'm officially going to pack orders. I think I've pulled everything. I printed a pick list, but a couple orders have come in since I picked them, so I have to double check. But I'm going to start with local deliveries because they go in bags, so it's a little bit faster just to clear out some space. I think I have 5, and then we'll do the stockist last. Next, I'm going to pack this wholesale order going to Terrific Canine in Calgary. This is actually my first time having a wholesale order for stickers. I carry probably about 20 stickers, just all related to dog stuff. So I ordered basically the same thing they came in so that I could ship them and they stay nice and tidy and don't get damaged in shipping. Okay, I had to switch the front camera for this one because I'm gonna be moving around. But one of the questions I get asked is like what my day-to-day looks like and like what's some of the hardest parts of running a dog treat company. And honestly, it's kind of the logistics again, like the inventory problem. Like right now, I was short a couple bags on that wholesale order, and while I was packing the treats and the other orders, another wholesale order came through. So I'm like trying to figure out how many treats I'm short now to also fill that one. The first wholesale order, which is about 50 bags, I'm short like 4 bags, which is fine, it's no big deal. I have a deadline of shipping it out on Monday. If you haven't used Faire before, it is a wholesale platform where you can reach other businesses and they can buy in bulk, and you typically kind of like put your date that you're planning on shipping stuff out. So I gave myself a little bit extra time knowing I had a bunch of other orders to fill and I'm still catching up from Christmas. So now I'm going to get my stockist treats ready. So the stockist that I keep saying I'm gonna stop at is actually just a place that is like kind of like a maker's spot. So I basically rent a shelf or like shelves where I sell the treats. I did another one when I first started. This is one that I'm gonna keep. I only pay $40 in like rent a month and I make a couple $100s a month there. But the reason I want to keep it is because I do have regulars that it is kind of out on the outskirts of town and they typically tend to go there because it's easier. So it just is something that customers have gotten used to, so I don't want to get rid of that. But yeah, otherwise it's kind of good exposure, and I only go like once a month, but my shelf has been empty since Christmas and it's the end of January. So I'm surprised no one said anything to me, but I'm finally just gonna go stock it up as much as I can right now and yeah, see what the month brings. So I'm only honestly gonna leave a couple bags of each kind of treat there for now, at least just to make it look full, and then I'll go in a couple weeks when I have more product, because right now I just have no product. Yeah, I would say, yeah, keeping kind of inventory, especially when you have so many SKUs. Like to start, I definitely don't recommend doing this many kinds of treats. Officially restocked. I had 5 bags of treats left and 3 of them were chicken feet. Picked up some brownie butter tarts and 2 more local deliveries and 1 more post office stop, and then we're done for the night. I got the freeze dryer going. I have pulled out the jerky gun to finish the last of the beets and beef. And that's pretty well it for the night. I'll check in with you once I get home and it's a little bit quieter. Here I have the freeze dryer going and the fan, so it's a little bit loud, but we're almost done. It's about 8 o'clock and we're almost there. It's gonna be launch day. I have at least one person that said they wanted to get a Valentine's Day box. found something good. Leo literally hasn't stopped thinking about it since I walked in the door. Do you guys want a treat? Do you think you want a treat? Okay. I think you guys are okay with just half. Oh, we got a bouncy Aussie. These are the turkey necks. I mean, I am oblivious when it comes to meat if I haven't cooked it before, but they're massive. And so I have a whole one, but I think tonight, just for now, while I get ready for bed, they can just have a half. Okay, relax. Even this is huge. Gentle. Gentle. Okay, that's the neck part. Here, baby. You guys are gonna be okay? Okay, it is officially 9 o'clock. I am done for the day. Most days aren't like this. Thursdays are my long days and I try and kind of work late, and especially today I was like following the momentum that I had. Like sometimes it's easier just to keep going and get the last few things done than start again tomorrow, especially with treats. So that's why I just finished the last of the Valentine's Day treats. So tomorrow I can fully focus on photography, pricing, and posting to my website and social media, because I didn't get that done today. I think that's one of the things I definitely struggle with is time management. I always think I can get a lot more done than I can. Things take a lot longer than I'd like to. My brain moves like 100 times faster than I'm able to. So I always overestimate how much I can get done in a day. But yeah, otherwise this is kind of hopefully was helpful. Some of the questions that I answered, I think I answered all the questions that I wanted to. If you found them helpful, or if you have any other questions about running a dog treat business in general, or any other advice that you'd like, just let me know. And otherwise, thank you for watching.